All right, well, turning it over now to some college baseball stuff over the past weekend, or past week, really. Uh, Big news that came across my desk on Wednesday was that Western Illinois beat Iowa 7-3. Iowa is the top-ranked Big Ten team. They are 31-12 on the season and 20-4 in conference. Kenny Perez went 2 for 4 in that game with a double and 2 runs scored. Harrison Dubois threw 3 innings, struck out 2, walked 1, and allowed 2 hits. And then Jackson Rogers threw 2.1 innings in relief and earned the win. So big win there for Western. And then on the weekend, SIUE swept Little Rock 8-4. They are now tied for first in the Ohio Valley Conference at 13-5. Illinois won their series over Purdue 2-1. They are sixth in the Big Ten at 12-9. UIC won their series over Bradley 2-1. They are now 9-9 in conference. Moving down, Southern Illinois won their series against ISU 2-1. They are rolling this year. They're third in the MVC, 12-6 in conference. And then EIU won their series over Southern Indiana 2-1, and they are third in the Ohio Valley Conference at 11-6. So good stuff there from some teams over the weekend. And then looking at some names here that are outside of some of these Illinois colleges, but they're Illinois prospects doing well. Tyler Bell is third in the SEC in doubles. He's hitting .319 on the year with 6 homers, 39 RBIs, and 38 runs scored. On that same Kentucky team, Luke Lawrence is hitting .289 with 6 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 30 RBIs, 36 runs scored. Brendan Summerhill over at Arizona is hitting .414 with 3 homers, 28 RBIs, 7 doubles, 6 triples, and 99 at-bats. But, guys, if you see any other nuggets here, any stat lines that you want to shout out, feel free if you have anything.
Well, as you were asking us how we were doing, I was digging in on a couple guys, making sure I didn't miss them, but also didn't want to get excluded from that Bears talk. I will say I was not anticipating that name, but I've heard good things, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Time will tell. It'll depend on the system that Big Ben's trying to run over there, the 2 tight end set. I don't know enough about football, but we'll see. But 2 guys I did add on there, Gavin, onto this player list was Ryan Moorman at Ole Miss. He's hitting .285 with 13 doubles, 10 home runs, and 41 RBIs for Ole Miss, and it actually is tied for the team lead down there at Ole Miss for RBIs. Former Illinois product, Lockport High School grad. And then you've got Alex Calarco, New Trier grad, few years back. He is now at Maryland. He's hitting .305 with 9 doubles, but the number that kind of stood out to me was he's got 16 jacks on the year and 57 RBIs, which the 57 RBIs also leads Maryland as well. So just 2 guys I wanted to shout out there. And then I'm also looking at UCSB, Peter Hammett, and I'm looking at the pitchers because there is an OPRF product, and I don't know how aware of this you are. I got alerted to this. Someone reached out to me trying to dig up information on him. But Calvin Prosky is a weekend guy for UCSB. We loved him for OPRF. I know he was always one that, he had a mystery injury one year, so where we didn't see a ton of him. And if he ever firmed up his breaking ball just with the way he moved, we thought he'd be really, really good. I'm pulling up the stats. He's got a 2.79 ERA right now. He's thrown the most innings on the team at 16-1 in a third innings. He's struck out 65, so he's striking out more than a guy an inning. He's only given up 52 hits as well, and he's only walked 15 on the year. So he's turning himself into a big-time draft follow here. But super pumped. I hadn't heard his name for 2-3 years, and then to hear that he's turned into a guy out there at UCSB, and we should hear his name in the draft this upcoming spring, or I guess this upcoming summer.
Let's go. I mean, I looked him up. Actually, I went down a rabbit hole earlier this spring. It must have been really early because he had 9 innings or something. I mean, it must have been really early in the year. But that's awesome. Good for that kid. I liked him a lot in high school.
Yeah. So I think that's what I got, Gav, on the college baseball roundup there.
Well, yeah, I just want to add a couple things on some guys from Louisville. Jake Monroe, a Champaign Central product, is hitting .370 with 8 homers, 44 RBIs, 8 doubles, 3 triples, and 51 runs scored. And then Zion Rose is hitting .333 with 7 homers, 46 RBIs, 14 doubles, a triple, 44 runs scored. And then TJ Schlager, Joliet Catholic arm, has thrown 24.2 innings pitched so far, struck out 17, only walked 9, and has a 3.28 ERA on the year. So good stuff there from some Illinois guys. But Def, I see you have some D3 news for us.
I do, but I actually want to shout out a couple D1 guys real quick. Kenny Perez over at Western Illinois, batting .303 as a true freshman. He's also tied for the team leading home runs with 4, so really cool to see Kenny's doing that. He's a product out of De La Salle, but and was a future gamer for us way back when. But also Johnny Royer over at Holy Cross, and this is actually going to lead into my D3 nugget. True sophomore for Holy Cross. They actually just clinched the Patriot League regular season championship. So, but he's having a huge year. I want to read off these stats real quick. He's out of Lake Forest. 312 batting average, 871 OPS. He started every game for Holy Cross. He's got 3 bombs, 35 RBIs. He's 23 out of 25 for stolen bases. So, just want to shout him out. And then that leads me into my next point, which is his older brother, Rocco Royer, old teammate of mine over at Wittenberg, having a monster season. When I was there, man, Rocco really started to come on, turned into one of our better hitters. Just trying to get this stat line pulled up real quick, but it's pretty absurd. He's got 12 home runs this year, which has got to be up there. I remember my first year there, we had a guy by the name of Jack Hollinshead who had a bunch of home runs as well, but 12's kind of nuts. 43 RBIs. He's batting .347 and has an OPS over 1,000. So want to shout out my guy Rocco, and then also the alma mater's got a big series this weekend against number 5 Denison. They're 2 games back at Denison. They have a midweek series this week that hopefully they take care of, but could set up where, if they were to sweep Denison, they would get the number 1 seed going into the NCAC tournament. So want to shout out my Tigers. They're 25-9 right now. They're having a great year. So that's what I got.
Well, I actually have a little nugget from an Illinois guy at Lewis, George Bilecki. I don't know if you guys saw this. He just broke the single season home run record with 21 bombs in one year. Yeah. So, I remember seeing him in high school, and I would not have expected that type of power in the collegiate, level, but dang, good for that kid. That's not an easy feat. 21's a big boy number.
Absolutely, especially this time of the year. Like,
yeah,
we haven't
still
even
got
made
games
yet.
left.
Yeah, he's got plenty of at-bats coming up. Gavin, I thought you brought up a really good product or prospect that we hadn't talked about too much, but Caleb Durbin. Defaball's talking about the Royer brothers from Lake Forest. Well, Caleb Durbin, he's from Lake Forest as well, 2018 grad. And when I first came on, one of my main jobs was to learn that 2018 group. They were freshmen or sophomores at the time when I started in 2015. But Caleb Durbin was a guy that I remember, and I clearly missed on him. We didn't rank him in high school. He went to Wash U, a D3. Out of high school, and then to see what he has done. First, when I heard his name get drafted a few years back by the Yankees, but recently got brought over to the Brewers via trade, Gavin?
Yeah, he's up with the Brewers now. Yeah, he made his debut, I think, over Easter weekend, maybe.
Yeah, I just looked up his stats. It looks like he's already got a home run. So kudos and shout out to you, Caleb Durbin, on a big league home run. And it just shows everybody kind of runs their own race or has their own track or trend and their own story. And he is obviously a really, really cool one and was not highly regarded out of high school, at least by, myself and PBR Illinois, and clearly proved us wrong and, hopefully continues to do it at the big league level.
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you said that, because I think on Thursday night or Friday night, I was watching the Brewers and Cardinals game, and he came up to bat, and I'm like, we got to talk about this guy on the podcast, because it's just such a cool story. And they were in St. Louis, so that's where Wash U is, right? In St. Louis, so I believe.
Yeah, it's in Missouri for sure. I don't know the exact address.
Yeah, I think it's in that St. Louis area. So like he probably got to see a lot of friends or family that maybe was down to see him for that game too. So that was cool.